Hey there, welcome to your best bets. Just just kind of getting things going in the right direction here for the pod because it has not been going at all the last couple months, and we'll get to that in a second. City Championship week in Fort Wayne for local golf here. It is the biggest deal. It is sort of our Masters U.S. Open rolled into one. Um, Starts this Friday at Coyote Creek and recording this on a Sunday night. So, kind of hitting that week where there's hype and anticipation, and happy to have two guys that are going to be playing in it, and we'll be here to discuss it tonight. Of course, my two favorite people to have on the pod, Johnny Strouser. Johnny, welcome back. What have you been doing the last 2 months?
Yeah, good to be back with one of my top 10 to 15 favorite podcast co-hosts. So good to see you and everything like that. Um, just been working and playing as much golf as I can, which is never enough. I think we can all kind of agree with that, but it's never enough because we got too many obligations and all that other stuff. But just trying to enjoy the weather as long as we can, because I don't know about you or Zach here, but I couldn't believe it. Like, we are already basically through July. I mean, this weekend will be August, and this summer to me, don't know why, it's just absolutely flown by. And I know we've wanted to do podcasts throughout the summer here, but just with schedules and other conflicts and everything like that, it's like, can't. And it's like, holy shit, we are getting through the summer here, and this isn't the end of summer by any means, but this is kind of the culmination of the peak of summer is the city championship. So, looking forward to talking about it tonight, and going on with having a good discussion about it.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Zach Fitzgerald's the third wheel tonight. Zach, welcome. What have you been up to? How's the golf game?
Pretty much been playing work. Golf wise, I play Wednesday and Thursday at Riverbend and League. I really haven't been playing a whole lot other than that. I wouldn't say the game's bad. I went back to the blades. I think that we had discussed that earlier on in the year that I had
Mm-hmm.
got new iron, and as we had predicted in that, I went back to the blades about 3 weeks ago, and it was a fantastic decision. So I think that the shafts and those irons ended up not being right for me, and immediately just felt like I was shaking hands with the best friend when I put the blades back in the bag. So, kind of like Johnny, I would say that the summer, it seems like it's gone by fast. I mean, we all work and we can all say that, so that's kind of just a normal part of our lives. But golf wise, man, it just like played a couple tournaments, played a couple member guests. Had a good fun year physically. I think we had talked about that. We were hoping, one of my goals was that I was going to play golf most of the year without physical pain, and that has happened. So I feel good about it. The one that hasn't is the practice. I'm just lazy. I can't get myself to do it. So really not a whole lot of expectations this year, but I have been enjoying golf.
And I know that was the biggest goal was for you just to have a healthy year and have fun playing again. So that's pretty important. Um,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, for myself, guys, yeah, Johnny's right. There was 4 or 5 times. I mean, we basically skipped two majors. So we never do that. And we skipped the U.S. Open and the Open, and I mean two great, great tournaments too. It's unfortunate we didn't get around to discuss them before or after. Um, yeah, I was counting today because I wanted to throw this number out there, but yeah, between my daughter who plays softball and my two boys that play baseball, I was from May 4th until 2 weeks ago, I had 58 games that we had between the three of them, in I guess just over 2 months. So that was basically my May, June, and half of July, and I'm gonna have to figure that out going forward, how I can get golf in because until I played the qualifier last Saturday, that was my fourth round of the year, and that's that's just not going to get it done. That's just not going to get it done. So I actually feel good that I made it through last Saturday with not my A game or B game really. Just kind of scraped it around, but yeah, for me that's what I've been doing. And this time of year, guys, now I'm pulling up X every day and reading it on what happened at the Bears practice, and I'm in that mode now. I'm doing daily Bears practice reports. What does Caleb look like? You know, who's popping. So I'm ready for the NFL, but yes, for this week we got a big golf tournament ahead of us. Um, Good to hear about the state of your games. And I've just kind of just let you know where my game's at, what my expectations are. But Johnny, I know for you, trying to win this tournament has been something that, for whatever reason, that you haven't gotten over the hump. I mean, I know countless top tens, top fives, a lot of close calls. I mean, I know you came down here from Michigan, so you've been playing in it, I think, probably 17, 18 years. I can remember back when I caddied for you at Sycamore, at maybe your first or second city. And so I know this is on your bucket list of golf things to achieve. So how are you feeling 5 days before the start of the tournament?
Yeah, I '07, I believe, was my first one. Is because I think I moved here in '06, right around late August, like right after City happened. So yeah, I played in it every year. Had my fair share of good finishes. I think I finished everywhere in the top 10 except for first place. So I've had a pretty good track record there, and unfortunately haven't been able to win it. But contended, and I enjoy it every single year there. So, I look forward to it every year. It's always the one event that I like because it's all of our friends, all the people we see, a couple times throughout the year, or we run into at Pine Valley, or if we're playing in a golf outing at Orchard Ridge, and just it's all the people who you're friendly with and everything like that you just kind of know everybody. We all gather for this event because everybody, sets their schedule, their work schedules and everything like that around it, just to be able to play in it there. So, it's in just that form there. It's a great thing, and the competition happens to be, you know, really great because we get a lot of the young players and a lot of the players who don't play much in the competitions anymore, and we always have just a really good field and some pretty good battles there. So as for my golf game, it started off really, really well at the start of the season. I won the little city, had some other uh, pretty decent finishes there. Played some pretty good golf there. Um, I've got an injury right now that I've been playing with most of the summer. Not going to disclose it at this time, but it's hurt the amount of golf that I've played this year. So it's one of those things that I've just kind of learned over time to manage, and it's something I can get by and deal with. It's just whether I haven't played 3 rounds of golf in a row in consecutive days. Yet this year. And usually the way my work schedule works is I can play 4, 5, 6 days in a row and not have to worry about taking any time off. So it's going to be interesting to see how my body holds up here as far as that. But I don't really want to get into it really too much because it's not if it was an excuse I just wouldn't play. So it's one of those things that I still expect to play well. But this golf course is it's gonna really demand a lot, and it's going to demand a lot from all aspects of the game there. So we're gonna give them hell come Friday morning, and we're not going to use anything else as an excuse. And I've practiced enough, and I've played a decent amount here that I feel that I've got a chance to contend at that point. And that's really all I want is I just want to wake up that final round and have a late tee time and have a chance to win the golf tournament, and that's what we're going to shoot for here come Friday and Saturday.
I think any of us that are competitors, golfers, you just want to be in the arena with the chance on the final day. And that's kind of the goal, through 36 holes. the betting markets are going to have to take you off the board
Yeah.
I mean, with this news. And also anyone that listens will probably be following up when they see you, or they'll text you, because I already have a text preloaded for after the show. What is the injury? So
Yeah.
get ready to answer that for me after we're done. Zach,
As long as you don't go to like Adam Schefter or
Yeah.
Jason Sobel or Dan Rappaport with it, I'm okay with it. We'll talk about it.
I hope you're not putting Rappaport on Schefter's level. I hope
No,
that didn't.
he's a tool man ever since he joined Barstool. But that's neither here nor there.
It might be a good show though. Zach, before we talk about the course, and I know that's going to be kind of our main emphasis here in a second. Talk about what city means to you, just playing in it. I know you've played in it a bunch of times as well. I know a lot of us locally, we kind of gear a lot of our year toward this time of the year, whether it's a city championship, club championships typically happen around this time of year as well. So, yeah, just talk about what it means to you, and why you love the week so much.
I mean, I think the evolution of how important it is for me has changed a little bit over the years. I think this is probably my 20th year playing in it. Early on, I was just really excited to be there. And I would say in the middle there, I kind of felt like if I put some effort in, I might compete. And now I'm kind of just looking at it from the aspect of one of the things that Johnny said, where, it's just kind of a time to get together and see all your friends. And, yeah, we all have the ability that if we play well, we can compete. That's great. And, if we get to the second, third day and we're there, then we can kind of get into that mode. But, the overriding factor that I feel is just getting to see a lot of my buddies that I don't get to see a whole lot. And, hoping that if I don't play well, one of them plays well. And then on the last day, I can watch them after my round finishes. It's one of the times that I actually stay at the golf course after the round and watch everybody pretty much for the entire day. It's an all-encompassing 3 days for me, and I do end up really enjoying it at the end and having fond feelings about it. So it's my favorite tournament, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody and being able to compete.
I will give you a lot of credit. When you go out there, you are an all-dayer. I remember 2 years ago at Autumn when my first round, and you just suddenly showed up watching me in the middle of my round, and I'm like, this guy lives for it. He literally had a morning tea time, and he's out here till 8 o'clock. So good on you, Zach, for not only playing, but I mean supporting your friends and people that you care about. I think it's pretty awesome.
I mean, I think a lot of the people at Riverbend would tell you that after City, I don't play a whole lot of golf, and I just show up to Riverbend and ride around in a cart and watch them play golf a lot of the time. So I enjoy watching golf with people as much as I do playing golf. I just like being around the guys now. And the ladies that play with us as well. I don't want to exclude them in any way. So I just really enjoy being around the people that play golf and discussing golf and life. And, that's what I enjoy. So that's what's fun.
I think that's an age thing a little bit. I mean, we're all generally the same age, and I think we generally feel the same way about that. I mean, playing is awesome, competing is awesome, but just kind of being around, people that you've played with for years is the fun part of this. Coyote Creek hosted you guys. I had it in front of me today, but was it 2019 or 2020 when Heath Peters won?
I think it was 20. I don't know exactly. It might have been 20.
I'll pull that up.
I think it was.
Before we went live, Zach made a mention that he thinks people are going to go low this week. Zach, you've played the course very recently. Before we talk about what we like about the course, what we don't, just tell us how you feel like it's playing, why you think scores are going to be generally lower.
I played it. My dad's a member there. I've previously been a member there, and I know a lot of the members, so I get an opportunity to play there often. I played it earlier in the year when we got a lot of the rain, and that course, when you get a lot of rain, plays kind of wet. It plays long. I played probably 3 weeks ago, and I could kind of start seeing a bit of a difference. It was starting to firm up. The greens were still a bit not as firm as what you would expect, and then I played it last Friday. Not the previous weekend we just had, but the one before that. And the speed of the greens, they had just verticut. I think they got their verticut machine and all the blades redone and all that stuff. So I think all previous year, other than last week or the week before, they haven't been able to verticut. The greens were significantly faster then. And then I played it in the member guest over the weekend, and Friday, it was in great condition. And I felt like Saturday, with the weather that we got on Friday, the greens felt significantly firmer on Saturday than what I've played them. I thought the course was great. The rough's thick. The fairways are great. They put new sand in the bunkers, and it's a little bit like coarser. It's not necessarily like a fine, pillowy sand, but more like a kind of a coarser sand. So what I found is that it came out really nicely as long as you just commit and swing through. So all in all, I thought the course was in great condition. The rough around the greens was thick. There are certainly spots that you do not want to miss with the rough. Yeah, it plays like it normally plays. Conditions were great.
Johnny, I'll kind of send it to you. We were texting a couple days ago about Coyote, and I expressed my feelings about it, and I didn't know how you felt, and you felt much more positively about the course than either I remembered or we had really never talked about it, which was probably more likely, is that we never really talked about Coyote that much. But I know you're on the same lines with Zach about this golf course, I think.
Yeah, I think we've never really discussed it because I think you just, I don't know. I think you kind of almost poo-pooed the course like right away. Like you're not a fan of it, didn't really like it
It's a
and
Miller
everything.
thing.
And it is a little bit of a Miller thing, but playing it what's nice is the Fort Wayne Golf Association usually has that early season tournament there that we play in the spring. So been able to play it, yearly and just kind of get to know the golf course a little bit. And the more I've played it, the more I realize it's a really good layout, tee to green. It really is. The mapping of the routing of the holes, the dog legs, the par threes are really good. Just the holes overall, there's nothing too weird or too easy or anything like that. And it just I've gone to finally appreciate like I said, the routing of it just makes it a good solid golf course. It's not like it's not gonna wow you like certain golf courses that you'll play. It's just hole after hole after hole. You're like, yeah, that's a pretty good hole. That's a good one too. That's a good one too. Um, I mean, Zach says the scores are going to be low. I think the field is going to get separated quite a bit. You're going to get a few guys that are going to probably shoot pretty low throughout the course of 3 rounds because there's a lot of holes that you can make birdie out there. But if that wind kicks up just a little bit, it makes that golf course super tough. And it seemingly always blows out there. Whenever
Mhm.
we seem to have an event out there, so it makes it kind of tough. It is if it's firm, it's going to be a little bit easier because you can get the ball down the fairway a little bit, but the greens are challenging to come into with the way the bunkering goes. But one of the things that this golf course kind of is different. We always talk about like a second shot golf course or whatever. This to me is a first shot golf course. It's got big trees, big mature trees, and the fairways aren't very wide. And there's a lot of really subtle dog legs. So you gotta really kind of look at your angles, and you can just miss the fairway and be under some trees where you got to play a punch shot, and it's so hard to get those shots, within birdie range, hitting under trees like that. So guys who can drive the ball like Heath, I mean, Heath hits it a mile and can hit it by a lot of that stuff. And he's a really good driver of the golf ball as well, at least in the 2 times I played with him. Um, he's a guy who could excel at that type of golf course there. But if you're not a really really straight hitter, or you're not really that long, you're going to struggle on it. And I think it's where it's going to separate is you're going to get the guys who hit it long, hit it straight. They're going to be able to hit a lot of greens, get a lot of birdie putts, and they'll be able to shoot low scores. But like the cut, if the wind blows a little bit, the cut's going to be a little bit higher just because just the type of field, the guys who usually shoot in that upper 70s. I mean, you get a little bit crooked one day, you're not going to break 80 out there. So it's one of those courses that can kind of get sneaky on you there. That if you're not careful on how you get around the golf course, you could make just some silly, silly, silly bogeys when you're just kind of not really in, feeling it or not in that groove where you're not playing well. So I kind of like the idea of a low score to win, but I don't think the scores in general are going to be super low.
I agree with you, Johnny, on the field getting separated a little bit. I think looking back at 2020, which it was 2020, when Heath and Logan Ryan were at 9 under for a playoff, there was only 5 guys under par.
Yeah, wow.
Those 2 guys kind of got out there. Callahan was under, Evan Reiki was under par, Garrett Wills 5th. Those were the only guys that were under par. But I mean, Heath was 9 under for the week, but he played the par 5s in 9 under. So he just dominated the par 5s, and he just took care of the par 3s, par 4s pretty solidly. When we break down a PGA Tour event or a course and we talk about what's the key component, I've thought all along the last 2 weeks it's driving the golf ball. I mean, it's not a place where short hitters are going to want to come out here and play, because there's definitely some length to a lot of these par 4s and even a couple of par 5s from the tips, and depending on how it's set up. It is one of those courses that feels like it could be a death by 1,000 paper cuts. I think a lot of bogeys is what you would traditionally see here. There's not a whole lot of holes where, doubles and triples, it feels like, where, maybe some other courses with hazards and OB or whatever. I just think it's one of these courses that you can make a lot of bogeys at pretty easily. For me, it never had a problem with the course as far as like what shape it's in. It's always in great shape. It always plays great. Everything is from a playability standpoint, it's great. It just doesn't do a lot for me as far as playing it, as far as enjoyability, kind of excitement, fun. It's not something I'm like, I can't wait to go play a Coyote. And I've told Zach this in the past as well. We've probably argued about it at some point. But it's down the list for me as far as Fort Wayne courses go. But I certainly can see why people feel, an affinity toward it if they do.
I'd like to expand on my comment of going low. I don't necessarily mean that the scores are going to be low for the average of the tournament. What I mean is there's going to be a round that somebody goes low. Because, as Johnny said, if somebody's out there hitting the driver straight, you're hitting 9, 8 iron, at least me, and I'm not a long hitter, into most of these greens, hitting a lot of these greens, and the putts don't break very much. So somebody's going to go low. That's what I mean by that. I don't necessarily mean they're going to go low all 3 days. I think the winning score is going to be somewhat similar to what it was the previous time that it played there. And I think that what this golf course does do is bring a lot more people into it. I don't think it's necessarily just a Bombers course. If you look at it, Sam Till won it at over 60 years old, hits the ball shorter than what I do at this moment at that point, just hit a lot of fairways, hit a lot of greens, and made putts. And I think he won it 5 under that year. And, maybe it's firm enough that it holds to that number, and that's the case. But I like the layout of Coyote. I think it's an older style layout. It held a PGA Tour event at one point in the 60s. So certainly the layout can't be considered bad, but I do understand the comments of some people that don't like it. It's not a newer age golf course. It does track like I'll say to people that 2 of my favorite holes out there are 6 and 11, and they'll say to me that, well, they're the exact same thing directly beside each other. And I'll say, that's fine. It's absolutely the truth. But if they weren't right next to each other, would they be great holes? And I don't think that the answer to either of those is no, but that's just my opinion. I think that, like I said, I just think it brings a lot of people in. Conditions wise, it's always in good shape. It's obviously not my favorite course in the city, but I do think that it's a good tournament golf course. It's not like to where even par is going to be the score, but it allows the chance for birdies and a lot of excitement, which I think is just another form of of tournament golf that maybe we don't always get to see because we play more firm, kind of tougher golf courses.
There's definitely some holes out there I really like. I really like 15 par 5. I think that's a really interesting hole, especially when you get in position where you can go for it in 2, but there's certainly trouble there. Um, 8's obviously a fun short 4, good strategy hole. I mean, I'm sure most of the field will be going for the green there. There's definitely good holes I like. We always talk about some of the courses on tour having that bit of a handshake start. So we have what we call, having 2 par 5s on 1 and 2 is a pretty unique thing, and I like, kind of differentiates it a little bit. I know everyone's not going to start on 1, but I do like that component as well. Johnny, is there a hole or 2 that you really like out there?
I like how the golf course starts. I mean, the 2 par 5s, you're either into the round or you're not, and that'll kind of echo what Zach was saying with the good score. I mean, you can get off to 200 par easily. I've done that before. And I think a lot of people, can end up doing that there. So, holes that I like, I mean, I like 6 and 11, like Zach said. Those are kind of neat holes. It doesn't really give you the chance to go for it, but it's nice that you've got the way the angle is and everything, that you really got to play to the correct side of the fairway to get the best angle, and you got to be able to hit far enough to get it down there past all the trees there. Those ones have always kind of set up as pretty pivotal holes there that you could make a very just a disgustingly stupid bogey or double bogey if you just kind of flare your tee shot, or you can get the fairway and then you've got 8 or 9 iron going in. So those are 2 that I've always liked there. Like holes that I think are underrated there. Like one of them is hole 4 right along in the back corner there. You got the 2 par 5s, then you got the short par 3, which is a good par 3. But that 4th hole is tough because you got the rough or the fairway. It slopes from right to left. And the way the tee sets up, it has you kind of aiming left there. But if you hit it right, you're absolutely dead because there's nothing you can do to get out of those trees and have any sort of a shot. So you figure you kind of bail left, but it's all kind of tilting left. So you're gonna, it makes you feel that you're almost gonna hit it too far left. And it's just one that kind of messes with your mind. At least it's messed with mine as far as like, hitting a decent tee shot there. It always seems like I end up in that left rough there. There's one tree that's like 130 yards out, and I end up somewhere behind it where I've got to hit a draw around it or underneath it, underneath it there. But that's kind of what, as far as like liking the layout, those are some of the examples of just the way the holes are slightly shaped in certain directions that make it tough there. So, but it's got a good finish. It's got 15, which is very, very risk reward. It's got a brute of a par 3 and 16. But I mean, I've seen plenty of people, hit really great hybrids or long irons. Actually that's 17, right?
17, yeah.
16 is a tough tee shot to a blind second shot there. 17 the par 3, and then you got a tough par 5, but if you hit it far enough, like we talked about, if they move the tees up, you can potentially almost get there in 2, but you've got that pond that's hidden on the left there. So it makes it kind of a neat finish. It's got that handshake start with several good holes in between, and then where you could go 2 or 3 under in the last 4 or 5 holes, or you could be over par and end up losing the golf tournament there. So there's a lot of different ways that you could take it, and there's a lot of ways you got to approach it. You really got to you almost got to stay focused and really have a plan going into each one and just commit to each tee shot, because if you don't, you leave yourself with where you're basically just kind of guaranteed to pencil in a bogey on every hole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
I just want to say my favorite holes before we move on for that. Like you, I think 15 is a fantastic hole. I think 16 is probably the best pure golf hole on the golf course. Just you can't miss right or left, and then elevated green with a bunker in front. It's just it's like a kind of a golf course or golf hole that you would see kind of like on a more like a tour style type golf course there. And then my favorite hole in the entire golf course is 12. I know that sounds weird to everybody. I just think that it creates the most possibilities of how to play the golf hole. You can hammer driver there and try to get on, but if you pull left or right, you're in trouble. I
Mhm.
personally hit 5 iron, and it either stays below that hill going up, or it just gets just above the slope going up, and I have somewhere between 120 and 95 yards in. And to me, I like to just play to the center of that green, and it gives you about a 15 to 20 foot putt to any pin, and I'll take that any day. So those would be my 3 favorite holes on the golf course. And thinking about it, when I was thinking about it, I realized the back has most of my favorite holes on that
Mhm.
golf course. 18
Yeah,
is a fantastic.
it is a good finishing hole. It is a good finishing hole, and it feels like every time I've played it and we're playing the tips, it's always into the wind, and you're like,
Yep.
bro, come on. So it's all you
Hard
want
cut
there.
wind.
Yep. Yeah, and I think some of these things we're talking about dependent on setup and tee setup, and this is a great segue to talk to someone that might have a thought about the setup, and I'm going to bring him in now. It's the Fort Wayne Golf Association president, Brian Straley. Um, bring him in here, live TV. But yeah, I think going back when we've done the show the last couple of years, we always tried to hypothesize what's the setup going to be compared from Friday to Sunday. And I remember in autumn a couple of years ago, there was tees that I had never seen before. So kind
Yeah.
of seeing, kind of getting the feel of what some of that might look like would be beneficial. Brian Straley is with us, Fort Wayne Golf Association president, the man that made me leave a Fort Wayne Tin Caps game to show up at a playoff last
Yeah.
Saturday is with us. Welcome, Brian.
Yeah, thank you. I felt terrible about that. Luckily for those guys that were still there, and then I, made you sit around for like what 10 minutes, and I'm like, go back to your game. You're good, go.
It's fine. It was like 10-0 when I left, so it wasn't a
All
barn
right,
burner or
that's
anything.
good. It
So,
makes me feel better.
but yeah, Brian, thanks for coming on, giving us 10 minutes of your time, just to kind of, we're previewing the city, talking about Coyote Creek here. Um, what's your outlook for the week? What's in store? Give us any tidbits as we're sitting here on a Sunday night, in advance of Friday.
So I got to play this weekend. I played, saw Zach out there. I got to play Friday and Saturday in their member guest, and talked to Hartley a little bit about the setup. And so obviously on Friday, I would say it's going to be, pretty fair, reasonably fair. They'll have, I would say, the whole 6 pins hard, 6 pins, medium, and 6 pins easy. But moving on from the week, I think Saturday, especially, we'll see a little bit more of the tees back. Probably maybe a 10 hard pin, 8 medium type deal. And then Hartley said Sunday is just going to be, hold on, and they'll have it probably pretty much tipped out. I think, Zach and I played. I thought the green speeds were good. They're not like, super fast, probably fast for Coyote. So they were in great shape. I noticed a lot of stickiness around the edges of the greens that's going to come into play, trying to bounce your ball in there. Or if you're just short, you can't. In the past, I remember putt through all that stuff. You can't really do that right now. So that's going to be interesting. And then, I think, like I said, it was firm, so that was good. It was crispy. I like it. I hope the rain kind of holds off a little bit. Even if we get some, it should be good. But I mean, the course was in fantastic shape. But I would say, Saturday and Sunday, I think if we get a little wind or anything, you're going to really see the teeth of that golf course. But yeah, it's I think it's going to be gettable on Friday, like it typically is. But you still got to hit the shots, and it's just going to get harder from there.
Guys.
I agree with everything Brian said. I can tell you that that pretty much mirrors what they've done the previous 2 times. I would imagine that we don't see 16 on the back until Sunday, probably. They
Correct.
probably have one on the back all 3 days would be my guess.
Yeah.
And then 17 will probably not move to the back. So I would imagine 17 will be on the back the second 2 days, playing
Yeah.
like 225, 230, depending on
Yeah.
where they put the. And I don't know what your plan is. I know that the previous 2 tournaments they've had out there, 18's gone blue pin position or blue tee position on Friday and Sunday, and then you guys moved it back for Saturday. But
So with talking with Harley, I think it'll be up on this. Is my guess. I think it'll be maybe back of the up tee on Friday, back tee on Saturday, up same back of the up tee on Sunday for that risk reward. Getting guys to bombers up there that can hit 5 irons and 6 irons and some of them 8 irons or whatever I heard that was. Yeah, and bring that pond into play. Because when it's way back there, you're just, I don't think anybody's going to, hit driver 3 wood and try to mess with that pond on the left. So yeah, I could see that too. And then 2 is another one. Like, is it going to be up? I think it'll probably be up the first day, then back both days. That's kind of interesting. And we talked a little bit about 12, maybe, putting it back a couple of days and then fitting it in one of those days up on that back of that front tee to kind of entice. Even from that back tee, if you guys are gonna have to wait anyway, so maybe put it on the back of that front tee to entice some guys to take a swing at it.
Brian, did I read this in an email correctly? It was a couple weeks ago about the live scoring being, for lack of a better term, mandatory.
Yep.
Okay, talk about that a little bit.
Well, technically it's not required, but I'm going to make it. There's like, if you don't do it, it's not like you're going to come in and we're going to assess you a couple shot penalty. But if you're not doing it, we're definitely going to come out and find you and say, hey, you need to do live scoring. Or if somebody's making the turn, we're going to make sure that everybody's doing it. So, it's just easier on if everybody's doing it, it's fine. And we've all done it. I would say by next year, I want it to be mandatory where, if you're not doing it, we will talk to the group. Somebody in the group needs to step up and do it. We do it at all the golf courses. IGA is doing it. USGA is doing it. So, yeah, I would highly recommend you do it. I want all the players to do it, and it's going to be, the starters on 1 and 10 and 1 on the last day are going to, make you put it into your phone and say before you tee off, hey, one person has to do this. So one person in the group. So I don't think there's anything. I think we're all adults. There's going to be some kids and stuff out there where their parents want to do it. They can put it in the code and do that as well. So there's enough people out there to make it work.
Well, something we were pushing for and hoping for years, it felt like. So yep. I agree. To kind of get everyone on board and say, hey, it's got to be an all or nothing thing to really make it effective, it seems like.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're just going to really stay on top of players to do it and go talk to the group and make sure that they are doing it. Even if they don't want to or don't like to, that's, I get it, but we'll keep an eye on those players and make sure that at least those groups, and make sure that somebody in the group has the capability, to have a cell phone, or like I said, if it's a parent, I get it. There's young kids out there too. So just to make sure that somebody in the group has the ability to do that.
Speaking of kids, any idea what the percentages of the field that are younger than 18?
Oh,
so it's
18, I would say probably 15%. 15% of the field, but that's a great 15%. It was awesome at the qualifier. You guys were there. Phil, you were there. It was just great to see those 14 and 15-year-olds competing. And how many were there? There were, I would say in that field, there were probably 20% or 20, 156 players. So 20% were under the age of 18. And I think in the city with all the high school, you got, all these high school kids that are, I don't know how old Justin Hicks and Kate Anderson, some of those kids are, but it's got to be at least 15%, if not more. And there's a very, very good player that, messaged me and had a conflict, and now the conflict's not there, and I really want him to play because I want the best players to play in the city tournament. So I'm going to try to make that work for him. So he deserves to be there after how he played last year and what he's done so far nationally this year. So I think we'd all agree that we want especially the best players from this area to be in it.
Yeah, and I simply asked because I did recognize at the qualifier, I'm like, oh my God, they're kind of taking over. I mean,
it's good. It's good.
It's great. It's great. It made me feel really old. But yeah, it was great to see. How was this week for you as far as, running the show, so to speak, but then also participating? How do you balance that?
I just got out of the member. I played with Joe Hayden at Pine Valley today. Literally, we started at 12:30 and it was 3 9-hole matches. And if I almost texted you because we about won it because we were going to be in a shootout. But nice. A lot of people asked me about that, and it's fine. It's a lot of work. I'm playing over there Wednesday, so Jen and I and the board are going to meet over there Wednesday. I'm bringing the signs, all the stuff, so I'll have everything set up, doing scorecards Wednesday night. So everybody will have their tee times Wednesday. We're going to be doing that about 6, so you can expect an email about 6:30 or so with that. Obviously, kind of the low qualifiers from last year, some of the qualifiers from the events, qualifiers that were low in the qualifying event, some of the past champions, some of the past presidents. Those guys will all go off in the morning, and then vice versa with I think the cutoff line was like 70 is crazy, right? Like 76 was morning or off 1 in the afternoon, and then past that, you can expect to be probably 10 off number 10 in the afternoon. We had a couple of requests, but the week's fine. I got to go get trophies and all that good stuff. I do have a Hall of Fame induction on Saturday night, so everybody's welcome to join. It's going to be Ron Schmucker and Mike Davis, so I'm going to send an announcement out about that. So they're 10 years of running the Golf Association before I did, so obviously we've talked about that before. There's the player side, the media side, and the I don't know what you call it, the organizational side. So putting time and effort, and so we're going to induct them on Saturday night, have a banquet after the round on Saturday. So we're going to have appetizers, a few drinks and everything. So it'll be great. Those guys deserve it.
Agree.
Yep.
Zach or Johnny, you have anything for Brian before we let him go?
Yeah, I think that is a great thing to do on that Saturday, is instead of doing it Sunday like after, because a lot of people leave and everything. Showing the respect that they deserve for all the hard work that they put in all of that time there, and those were two of the guys that when I first moved down here, they were two of the main guys for the Fort Wayne Golf Association. We're always extremely welcoming for me, a new guy who's not from the area and everything like that. So that will certainly be a great thing for them there. So the golf course wise, going back to that a little bit more there.
Yeah.
Since you're basically the president and the head of the complaint department, I'm sure that you'll hear about it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you have much input in how the golf course gets set up? Because I know you got to take a lot of the flack for it if there's a lot of complaining or if there's slow play and stuff like that. But don't you typically just leave it up to the golf professionals there at the golf course to set it up?
I do. And Hartley and I sat there for, I would say, probably 30 minutes on Saturday and had a nice discussion about what we had just spoke about, some of the tees, some of the boxes, some of the, what to do on 7, one of the days. Yeah. I mean, obviously it's a city term. We want to make it fair, but hard. But I mean, like I always said, if you want to, I don't have a complaint box, but if you want to send me one, good luck. You can send it to me, but we do this for the love of golf, right? We're doing it for the right reason. So he's Hartley knows how to set up a city tournament. He's won a city tournament. He knows what to do. So I do let them kind of handle that side of it, but the rest of it, I just kind of put my 2 cents in, and we kind of go back and forth on a few, like, okay, you think we should do this? Yeah, I should do that. It's all his idea, and I just kind of I put my input in about I think this would be cool. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So it's just a nice back and forth. But
I got one more question though. The most important one is, how's your golf game right now?
pretty good today. Yeah, we played. Like I said, Joe and I shot 30 on the front as a best ball. We had to give 3 shots back, so we kind of lit it up today. Which he's a +4 now, so and I was a 1. So outside of the shots, I bet we beat everyone by 15 shots, and I hit it very, very well today. So I'm happy. I found a little
Good time
something
to be peaking.
afternoon. Huh?
I said good time to be peaking your golf game here.
Yeah, my putter was great too. That's the tricky part about Coyote. Everybody thinks you can get Coyote, and then everybody comes off and they're like, I didn't make 1 putt today.
Yeah.
You know how that goes, and you get some tricky spots around there. So it'll be obviously we know a lot of the names. You're one of them that'll be up around the leaderboard. It usually is pretty similar, and you throw a few high school kids and a few college kids and a few of the veterans, and it's always great. So
yep, absolutely. Brian, appreciate you stopping by. Fort Wayne Golf Association Prez. Look forward to a great week, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. All right, see you guys all this weekend.
We'll see you this weekend, man.
All right, sir. Yep, looking forward to it. See you guys.
All right, take care, Brian.
Bye-bye.
Zach's going to leave us. I lied. I said 30 minutes. I did 50. I'm sorry. Zach, good luck this week. Hope to see you out there, buddy.
See you guys.
Play well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I'll see y'all.
See you, man.
Hey, buddy. All right. Now it's time for the NFC North preview. No, I'm just kidding. Although has the love for the Lions gone too far at this point?
It's so uncomfortable. Like from both like Lions fans, us lifelong fans like myself, and national media. It's just really awkward and uncomfortable because I'm used to just being the butt of every joke and everything like that. But I mean, we'll move away from golf for just a second since you had to mention it. But no, the Lions, I mean, they really didn't lose a whole bunch. And they signed all those core guys and shoot, man. I mean, it's so hard to win the division 2 years in a row. It is the hardest thing to do, I think, is to repeat as division champions. Any team but Kansas City, it's an impossible feat. So,
this division is good. It is.
Holy shit,
it is,
man. I mean, Jordan Love appears to be the real deal. I mean,
yeah, biggest contract in NFL history. Are we sure? Are we sure about that?
No, but I think
because he was not. He was
Aaron Jones.
He was not good the first half of the season. The first half of the season,
wasn't.
We were like, this guy's not good.
No,
I mean, I know what I saw in the last 8 to 10 games in the playoffs. The playoff game against Dallas, he was incredible. But that is a heck of an investment for half a season. I will say that.
That's like that Jimmy Garoppolo when the Patriots traded him to San Francisco and they played a bunch of meaningless games and he went like 7 or 8-0 or something like that, and then got signed to that big deal and then just was the real Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, they wouldn't even throw the ball in the NFC wildcard playoffs. I think it was like they played like at Green Bay or something like that, and they just refused to throw the ball because he was that bad. So I think Jordan Love's better than that, but I mean, like I said, no Aaron Jones. Their offensive line is probably pretty serviceable and everything. And they're well coached.
And the receivers are really good and they're really young and they have like 4 or 5. I mean, they're really deep. Youngest team I know going last year. So you would think they would take a step up again. And the North is good. I mean, the Vikings still have a talented roster. We don't know what JJ McCarthy is going to look like. And of course, I do think the Bears are primed to take another step. They have a really good roster. And of course, Caleb Williams. Anyways, no, I needed to throw that out there because I'm reading these like ESPN future rankings. So not just for this year. It's the next 5 years, and the Lions are third, and I'm like, am I live? Is this real?
It can't be real.
It cannot be real. So it's been an incredible turn the last 2 to 3 years under Dane Campbell. So I'm happy for you. You can continue writing this as long as it lasts. So final thoughts on the week for you. What's your practice schedule? What's kind of the prep for you Monday through Thursday?
Well, I got a couple rounds in last week, and most of my was my off week and everything. This week is going to be tough. It's a work week, and the way my schedule works is I work heavy one week and then light the next. So it was a challenge, first of all, just to be able to get the time off. But luckily I got coworkers who understand because I don't really get the PTO time like a lot of people do. I gotta do things to make it work. So luckily I was able to get that time off. I'm not going to hit a full swing until Friday morning on the driving range. So that's going to be interesting in and of itself. Now, this isn't the first time this has happened. This is probably like the third or fourth city championship where I haven't been able to really do much prior to the event there. So I did talk to my course Riverbend. They're going to have their short game area opened up until dark, and I can usually get in about an hour practice or so each night. And really that's been the thing. The full swing's been pretty solid most of the summer here, but the short game, the chipping especially, is a little bit sloppy, and I don't expect to miss many greens, but I'm going to miss a lot of greens. And a lot of my scores, whether they've been in tournaments or whether they've just been playing by myself or with some buddies or whatever, kind of leaking away some golf shots in and around the green there. So I'll spend a good chunk of time with the short game, probably a couple nights this week here in preparation for the event, and then, but it'll be just kind of just resting up, making sure I'm not overdoing things or not getting too many, where I'm feeling rushed and everything, and getting too many bad thoughts in my head. Been putting really well for a good chunk of the summer now. Kind of really something. Kind of figured out something here about a month ago. So feeling really comfortable over the ball. And if I could just keep it in the fairway there, and we'll manage the undisclosed ailment there. As long as we don't have a tendon that snaps, we'll get through 3 rounds. But I don't know if I got 9 under in me for 3 days, but I'm sure as hell gonna try, and we're gonna have fun. My parents are coming down from Michigan as they always do, and always enjoy that. Wife comes out. She doesn't typically come out and watch other than that event there, so I always get excited when she's out there supporting me. So we're gonna just enjoy it, and like we were talking about with Zach earlier, the older we're getting, it's less about the mood's less about your golf game and more about just the experience and playing in a tournament, because we don't play much of these anymore, and seeing your buddies and everything like that. So might as well just try to go win a golf tournament while we're there. So that's that'll be one of those things there, and hopefully we'll get some good weather.
Yeah.
I know that's always we've got a couple of years ago we had a bunch of rain. It's always hotter than hell that week there. So, and I know you've got that. You'll probably draw that Friday afternoon tee time there based on your score. So that always sets the tone there. So I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, it is what it is, but that's one of those things that you probably got to be like, you know what, I'm going to have to bring my golf game, because you're going to get the toughest conditions. It'll be a little bit breezy, I'm sure. It'll be a little bit hot, and
Yeah, and Brian, I mean, Brian basically said it there. Yeah, I mean, and it's no secret, the exempt players, the qualifiers that finish high are the ones that get the preferential morning tee time on the first day. And so nothing I'm not accustomed to teeing off at 1:40 in the afternoon when the wind's at its peak and the greens are running fast, the whole thing. At the autumn a couple of years ago, I had to go out in those conditions and fired a good one. So just try to keep it in front of me, get off to a good start wherever I'm starting, and I've just been laser focused on my driver the last couple of weeks. Put in a new shaft last week, got out this weekend with it. So just kind of getting that feel down, trying to, maximize not only my distance, but just control, as we talked about that being pretty paramount this week, especially as the weekend progresses and holes get longer and tougher. But yeah, I'm like you. I'll probably do a little bit of practice each night. And I'll be out at Coyote Wednesday for practice round. And yeah, I'm excited because my twin boy, he came with I don't want to call it caddying because it was not. He rode in the cart with me at the qualifier, and he thought that was pretty fun to do that. And because I told him, I said, I just want. He's interested in playing, and we got him clubs, and I said, hey, if we're gonna do this, I want you to see what a round looks like in competition, how it's put together. And he's like, Dad, I went to the memorial. I've seen that. And I'm like, that's true. I said, okay, at this level, I want you to see what that looks like. He's like, I've seen fucking Scotty Scheffler. Okay. I've seen him win a tournament. So it was pretty cool for him, to see that, I'd make a birdie putt. I could see him kind of fist pumping in the cart. So it's kind of cool when your kids come out and you're kind of rooting for you too, even if you're just, mediocre or average at best, like I am. So it'll be fun to maybe have the kids come out and watch a couple holes this weekend. Yeah, should be a great week though. I know it's our favorite week from a local golf perspective. And then once this is over, we can put it to bed and, like I said, move on to the NFL season, which I'm just extremely, extremely excited for. And I know that we'll have to do a couple pods in the NFL for sure in the next couple weeks. So good luck to you. Hope you play well, and you're in contention on Sunday, sir.
Thank you, and good luck to you as well. And let's see. Hopefully, we can come back to this next week and have a pleasant conversation about our experiences.
Yeah, and maybe the positive thing is we're back to maybe a weekly podcast, and that would be great news for us. So
That'd be great.
Yeah. Everyone going out to the City Championship, enjoy this week, Friday through Sunday at Coyote Creek. Should be a good one. Hopefully the weather complies, and it's an enjoyable experience for everyone. So thanks to Brian Straley for coming on, and of course our friend Zach for being here as well. So thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time.